Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I am here today with a familiar face to those of you who have watched some of our videos, our brilliant lawyer and partner, Tahir Tahja.
Correctly.
All right, all right. Look, people have reached out to you, they've done consultations, you've given a lot of specific legal advice on how to immigrate here to Albania. But the question that we get asked a lot is like, what's your story?
So, you know, to talk a little bit about myself, I live in Tirana, lived there all my life, and I don't intend to leave.
Through your work, you are kind of the front door through which a lot of Americans are being, or immigrants are able to ask their first questions about Albania. What do you hear? What kind of themes come up during those conversations?
How it's become more and more dangerous to them to live where they are, and they definitely need to change. Like many of the people that I talk to haven't really gone out of the country at all in their life. And it's interesting that they want to choose Albania, and I think it's a good choice. Especially U.S. citizens can stay up here for 1 year, and they have the luxury of time to kind of decide for themselves.
Right. They can come,
Come,
check
check it out.
see if it fits their vibe, and
Yeah,
do all the work to get residency once they're here on the ground.
yeah. But as I said, they definitely are concerned with the current administration. They're concerned about the U.S. in general, the higher prices, and just the quality of life there, which is not no longer they're no longer living the American dream.
I'm really curious to hear about the American dream from your perspective, especially someone, growing up in Albania. Tell me what America meant to you and meant to Albania when you were a child, when you were younger.
Like the US has always, I mean, it's not just was, has always been to us the empire of good. Like it has been, because of our history also with Kosovo and how the US helped us, and in contracts with the other European countries, US kind of always had our back historically. And also just everything from the US, like pop culture, trends, news, politics, everything has always been very, very fascinating from our perspective. The whole American dream, going there to live, maybe one day, it's also part of what has been, the immigration story of many, many Albanians. But then the last few years, conversating with people that actually have gone there, conversating with people that come here, Americans, you kind of you get a reality check on what the life there is more about.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, you've obviously yourself talked about, life in the US and then the change that you have here. And it's not it's not the dream that they sold to you.
Right.
It's not that, at least not from the conversation that I've had.
The problem in America is it doesn't feel like the American dream really exists for most people anymore. It's not attainable to buy a home. Leisure time is not at all attainable. And I think Albania offers a really good option for people that are looking to get out. But I know, at least from my conversations with you and from my other Albanian friends, they hear me say, yes, I left the USA for Albania because Albania is safer and better and more exciting, and they are confused. They're like, why would you go the other way? We've always dreamed of leaving Albania to move to the USA, and now you're saying it's better here?
Yeah, that's when I first started more in immigration law and getting to know more and more foreigners, I was like, my first question was like, why?
Right.
Like, you're moving here? Like, shouldn't be the other way around? Like, we're coming there for a better life. Like, that doesn't work. That does, but when you live like myself, when you live at the same place all the time, all my life, uh, you lack perspective on how other countries are doing or how our lives are lived in these other countries. And you kind of I'm just comparing Albania to Albania, basically. And of course, I have my reservation, the disadvantages, whatnot, but it's it's nice from all the conversation I had to get some perspective on the life out of
Right, right. I definitely think Americans do that too. They can't even see their way out of the
here.
country. It's
Ye-
strange to even imagine a different life, a different
like
way.
like we see ourselves in like the negative, like some of us here like see it in the negative way of Albania, and you guys kind of have seen it when you were growing up, like America's the best, like there's no one close to the US,
Hmm.
you know. So it's kind of, it's funny to me at first when I would hear people come here, like my first reaction was like, why?
Well, I think one reason why is probably the rapid pace of change. It seems like things are moving so quickly here. The roads, infrastructure work, the reputation of the country seems like it's really being kind of rehabilitated in a rapid fashion. The goal towards moving to the EU. I'm curious if you can tell us from your perspective what that rapid change has been like to live through.
Hmm. It's been rapid, but also in my mind, it's like it should go faster than it is. Like I'm not content. Like
Right.
it needs to be even faster. Like, and some points I'm like, yeah, we're definitely way ahead of what you used to be like 10 years ago. But in some other ways, I'm like, we gotta move faster. Like if we're gonna be a EU country, there's certain standards we have to pass as well.
Right. Like what? Tell me about this.
The number one thing is always going to be the government and the corruption of the government. Like I see from your videos that I understand your perspective. Like for example, when it comes to doing something to change, here it gets done faster, like a road being built,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Most people feel they have a corrupt government. Across the world, they view their government as corrupt. It seems, at least from an outsider's perspective, like Albania is working hard, at least publicly, on the image of corruption. A lot of our viewers might be interested in the history of Albania's government and potential government corruption.
So until the 1990s, we were still under communist regime, and we have been for 60 years. I would say that the transition is very, very hard, has
Mhm.
always been very, very hard. Going from a completely communist country that didn't have any relations with any other country in the world, going then now to this capitalist system, we are rookies in all of this. Like compared to other countries, that's how it felt like. I mean, from what I've, you know, talking to my parents and, older people, going from that to the 90s, going to capitalism, stuff that, for example, the US was there 60, 70 years ago.
Right,
The thing about that is that you're way behind, you want to go ahead, like you want to go on time with the other countries
right.
that have had this system for a while. So you do some shortcuts, and that kind of defeats the purpose of a good democratic transition.
Right. The shortcuts, for progress that
For
you.
progress, yeah. To like keep up with, cooler countries.
I mean, in our opinion, Albania is pretty much the coolest country out there right now. So the catch-up work is
Look
working.
at well, having an AI minister, I'm sure.
Yeah, Diela. Okay, tell us, what's your opinion on Diela as someone who uses eAlbania?
Um, the first thing that you open in Albania, it's funny that DLL pops up. That's true. I guess government contracts has always been a place of high corruption. A lot of people being involved, not just the government. And I guess the government's answer to that, having someone impartial, like
An AI.
an AI,
Right.
ChatGPT. I don't know if it's serious enough, but it definitely caught some headlines all over the world.
It did. It was a good
It
marketing stunt.
it served its purpose in many ways.
I was thinking from my software consulting perspective, I'm like, man, someone sold Albania some like e-procurement AI scanning software and then put a persona on it and got the biggest amount of press you could out of some AI tool launch.
No, that was you're like, all right, the marketing team did a really, really good job there.
uh, so do you think corruption has decreased in the country significantly?
I would say it has decreased on smaller levels.
What do you mean?
Let's say on the smaller or local offices or mayors or stuff like that, or like even simpler things, like for example, until 15 years ago you could buy a police officer a coffee. That's how we call it. We would just give him a 500 leg and we would just do whatever we wanted. Pretty much. I guess that's definitely not the case anymore, or anything related to this. But uh, I would say at the top, everything is kind of for sale.
Okay.
I have my views for it.
Interesting. Interesting. From my perspective, America is kind of the same way.
Hmm.
Everyone at the top and then all of our elected officials are bought and paid for by moneyed corporate interests and do run the government in their interests and not in the interest of the people.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because one of the things that I was thinking before when you asked about, what the U.S. meant to us, was also politics was something that we really looked up to you. So let me give you an example. When Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, for example, um, one of the American ideals and what we always looked up to was that you lose an election, you accept the election.
Right.
Donald Trump doing what he did after he lost was the most Albanian thing I could think of, because politicians here never concedes losing the elections. So that to me that was like, that's unfortunate. That's a letdown.
Right. The system is just not holding the way it once did.
Not the ideals that we grew up, reading about and learning about. Definitely
Right.
not.
Well, us either, following the law, constitutional norms, separation of powers.
Yeah.
I think one thing that really fascinates me about Albania and the pace of change is how quickly it's, I mean, I understand you say we need to go faster, but what I see is like in America, you can't get a road done, a highway done in less than like 5 years for billions of dollars. And it seems like in the span of 5 years, Albania has, Saranda has all new streets. There are these new tunnels all the way through the country. Like these highway passes connecting areas are great.
Yeah, as I said, perspective is important.
Like in America, it might not be like super corrupt, but it is like super expensive and takes a long time. And so like there's like
bureaucracy is
right there is a speed benefit, I think, to some of these dysfunctional governmental processes.
Okay, I can agree. Okay, as I said, perspective is very important, and hearing stories about how things work in other countries. But yeah, I would say definitely the rapid growing I would say in tourism has been great. Like, I remember going to Saranda was definitely not something that I would do to just stay one night. Like, it could take a while. Like, the scenery was beautiful to go to Logara, but at the same time, it took a long time. And if you were a little bit lightheaded when it comes to like the curves of the roads, it was not a nice trip.
Right.
Not in that sense, at least. So it's been a nice change, in that regard.
Tell me a little bit about your story and your journey to become a lawyer. When did you decide that you wanted to practice law?
There's a number of reasons, I would say. So I come from, both of my parents have dealt with prosecution from the communist era. Like, my father was in jail for 16 years for just distributing posters against the government.
Mm.
And my mother was forced to live somewhere actually close to Saran, in Borsh.
In Borsh?
Yeah, in Borsh, out of all places, because her father was convicted as a traitor to the people.
Mm.
So I think the sense of justice, especially in my teenage years and learning more and more about my family history, and kind of just even the fact that during communism, a lawyer was banned. Like, there was no such thing as a lawyer.
Right. Interesting. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah. So it's definitely had some sense of like duty to be part of the justice in the country. Maybe be part of not letting the country go back to the older regime roots.
Absolutely. That's really powerful to have such a sense of purpose and mission with, your work.
Yeah, and also it's your other reasons like you're 18, you don't know what to do, and you feel like okay, law is something stable.
Right.
So part of the reason is also that, and I did start, when I was 18, I went to law school. I did 3+2. That's how we have the system: 3 years of bachelor, 2 years of masters, and then straight away I did my 1 year of lawyer school, and then I had my bar exam too.
Interesting. So what was that process like of going to law school here?
It was very, very interesting. It was definitely something that even if I didn't want to become a lawyer, I was like, it's still a good school to learn about different stuff on how the government works, how law gets passed, litigation, how the courts work, et cetera, just on a basis level. But also getting to know more and more actual cases and working on them. That's also been very, very interesting. In my master's degree, we had teachers that were lawyers or prosecutors or judges, and then we get more and more perspective on that, which was interesting.
Looks like the cruise ship
Looks
is
like a cruise
leaving.
ship. All right.
You can see it.
Well,
Bye-bye.
it's you're lucky to be Sam and Spencer to view this every day.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't have it any other way. So you completed law school, you completed the bar exam. How did you find your way to immigration law?
So it was a little bit by chance. I did intern in a bunch of institutions for just a couple of months. I didn't like it. I didn't like working at government positions at all. Then I interned, unpaid intern, at a law firm that they had like commercial clients, like they had businesses. And a lot of these businesses had foreign administrator or partners or workers. So they just used the firm to kind of do the residencies for them. So that's how I kind of stumbled upon, like I had to do like, you give the residencies the little job to the intern to do and complete. And it was interesting because I got to talk to a lot of people, and that's what I always liked. And then I saw that more and more people were coming, and I thought that this is a very, very good opportunity. Like, there's not a lot of immigration lawyers, at least at the time. It's like 6 or 7 years ago when I was starting, and I thought that I would keep up at this wherever I went. And even when I changed law firms, this is one of the things that I brought to that law firm myself. It's like having this as a service, the residency, the visas, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it was by chance, but then I kind of decided that this is like it's fulfilling and it has also opportunities a lot. So
Absolutely. I mean, we have been overwhelmed with the amount of people that have reached out to book consultations with you, to talk to us, who are really ready to make the move to Albania.
mm-hmm.
I'm curious what you think Albania is going to look like 10 years from now.
Hopefully in the EU. That's been the goal for so many years. I don't even remember. I would say more, definitely more expats, more foreigners coming. But I also expect more Albanians to come back too. Like I feel like I've met a lot of Albanians too, and of course foreigners as well. Like the business opportunities that are here. I've had some Albanian friends that they went, let's say they worked for a few years in another country, and then they came back. They came back to Albania to open a business or something that is missing here, which is a lot in some areas.
Right.
Yeah, like the Argentinian steakhouse.
We needed one of those, and now we have one.
or other types of businesses. I see it in that way developing for sure. I just hope that I'm more concerned on, the economy on a global level more than just Albania itself.
Right.
So like in a global level, it's decreasing and it kind of affects everyone. That's my only concern. That.
I think if there were any place I'd like to weather a sustained economic collapse, it would be right here on the beach in Albania rather than in a cubicle in Kansas City.
With this view, I agree with you too.
So let's say one of our viewers books a consult with you, comes to Albania, goes through the whole process, and is getting their Albanian residency card. What one piece of advice would you give them in order to lead a happy, productive, integrated life here in Albania that they might not hear from someone else?
Be adventurous a little bit. Like you're not gonna find everything at hand. Like you're not gonna find everything with ChatGPT or any other apps on your phone. You'll have to go a little bit more out. You'll have to be more social to talk to people. Like, it's like whenever you want to get something done, to us, it's like, okay, I gotta call my friend who knows a friend who knows a friend. Like that's the sort of life that it's here. So you have to be prepared for that.
How do you feel about people who move here and don't speak Albanian? I know that it's possible to, lead and conduct your life speaking only enough to just get by. But I also know that it means that sometimes, like you said, I struggle to call a friend to get something done.
Well, I would say the population talks English a lot, so that's always good. You're especially under 50, 40, you're gonna find a lot of people speaking the language. Italian too, but mostly English. And I would say try to learn the language for sure, but I also empathize because it's difficult. I would say it's kind of difficult. It's unique in its own way. It's not Latin, it's not anything else, German, English. So, because I've had friends that are trying to learn it, and I'm like, how the hell did I learn this when I was in first grade or second or third grade?
Right.
Yeah. But, I would say for business purposes, employment purposes, but also trying to get more things done or trying to connect with more and more people, it is important to try and learn the language.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Making my best effort.
Good for you. I mean, if I can ask you a question, we talked a little bit about the idea of America, the American dream. Can you tell me about what was it to you growing up? What was the perspective?
That's an interesting question. To me, growing up, the American dream, it meant a couple things. It meant, doing well in school, going to college, getting a good job, buying a house, having 2 kids, and, leading a happy, successful life. And then there was also this part of the American dream that was about unity, we are the best, number one, that I feel, especially around this attacks on September 11th, was really unifying for the country. And so the American dream was always about, American exceptionalism. We are the best. We will liberate the world. We will succeed. And also an economic message of you're going to be better off than your parents' generation. If you work hard and play by the rules, you're going to get ahead. And especially around areas of economic concern, everyone is really stretched to the max, and it does, children seem like aspirational goods. It's the ultimate luxury symbol.
Luxury, yeah.
Is to say I can afford to have a child, and there's not a whole lot of cultural fabric, I think, left. As you mentioned, I call my friend who knows someone. That doesn't exist. Everything has been taken over by private equity firms and corporations and apps and technology, to the point where people don't really know or trust in each other anymore. The only thing that they do is consume media through the television or through their phones.
Right. But compared to, okay, so you hear about Albania. What are your initial thoughts? And what are your thoughts now that you've lived here for a while?
When I was initially researching Albania, my initial thoughts were, well, that looks like an attractive visa option. And it's a NATO country. I was definitely being more spreadsheet focused about it. When we arrived, I think I was in vacation mode for a little bit, which is easy to do down here in Saranda. And over the course of the past year, what I've seen is the dynamism. You describe the pace of growth and the pace of change.
Yeah.
What I see is business opportunity.
Yeah.
There are things that we did 10, 20 years ago in America that haven't even been tried here.
Okay.
And the entrepreneur in me gets very, very excited by the business opportunity and the eagerness of that I feel of the Albanian culture to grow and to expand and to change.
Bring a little bit about like the good entrepreneur spirits from the U.S. to Albania.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the reality is in the U.S. things don't change that much.
Okay.
There's so much bureaucracy. There's so much red tape.
So much competition.
So much competition that things really feel kind of the same. Whereas as an entrepreneur, there are so many opportunities for you to bring your skills, to bring your talents, to bring your visions, to bring your ideas, and make them happen in reality here in Albania where they're really needed. I mean, there are just so many opportunities for growth and for expansion that I feel really grateful that I get to be a part of that. A country that is growing, that is developing, that is alive.
You're like at the bottom floor of like a building being made.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Ground zero.
And that's something I don't feel like I would be able to experience in America. You don't get to be a part of building something that feels new, that feels this exciting.
Okay.
I know that my enthusiasm can maybe come off as phony, but it really is in my opinion infectious. Albania is enthusiastic for growth. It's enthusiastic for change, and it's eternally hopeful.
You definitely have an infectious enthusiasm, but that's a very, very good thing, and that's a very positive attitude that you'll have to have when you're, going back to that question about advice for Americans that are coming here. Like you'll have to have that mentality of bringing something here, or building something here, or doing something here for like the first time.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to have a mission.
Yeah, exactly.
Tahir, I'm so grateful that we could get together and have this conversation, but also to collaborate with Smile Abroad. How many consultations now have you had for Smile Abroad potential customers?
Too many to count, but it's to me it's great. I get to conversate with people from all over the world. It's very, very interesting. So I'm very, very grateful for you guys and all the work you do.
We really want to make it easy and doable for people to come experience life in this wonderful country. It's not for everyone. I know it's not for everyone, but it is a wonderful, wonderful place that I don't think nearly enough people have had the opportunity to explore or even make home.
I agree.
If someone wanted to get in touch with you about potentially moving to Albania, how could they do that?
So we're gonna have the link at the description of the Smile Abroad. So you can just go in the link and you'll have a little calendar there where you can book a consultation.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you, Tahir, for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you for having me. And please, people, Spencer just had his birthday. So in the comment section, wish him a happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.